Barbados, we must never allow present circumstances to define our future. In the past, we were known for our strong and decisive leadership, our social, economic, and political stability, and our well-educated and productive workforce. Who we become will depend on the vision and the focus we have. These series of videos will challenge us as a people to dig deep within and find our purpose. We are Refocusing Barbados.
The last time I spoke to you, I was 25 years old. Now I'm a little older, 1 year old. I'm 26 now. As you can see, my hair is getting a bit gray. Don't worry with that. That's a sign of wisdom. And I have been dealing with some things in my mind over the past week. And one of the things that I have been dealing with has to do directly with sentiments expressed to me. Namely, stay away from anything political. I can't promise anyone to do that. The nature of West Indian society and all of its functions are affected by political action. Almost everything in our societies in the Caribbean revolves around political action, political activity, how governments behave, whether governments are facilitators, whether governments are working in the best interest of our people. So I would say to that, to those sentiments, no, I cannot support that. Especially in light of what is happening in our society, where we have thousands of people who are unemployed and thousands more who will become unemployed within a few months. And when you look at the source of a lot of this unemployment, it has come directly from government. Government has laid off thousands of people. Now, what we have to understand, what people have to understand, is that you cannot sit down and say, do not become critical of the government. You have to be. It's only natural. Because if government is behaving in this way, and families are hurting, going home without any money, joining the ranks of the unemployed, have children to feed, children to send school, and other commitments like mortgages and so on. How could we, and specifically me, MacDonald Nichols, could be quiet about this? How can it be sudden? How could I not have at any one time a political focus? This is not a political program. It is not. But it has to deal with the truth. The truth is, government has created a lot of pain in our society, leading to many people becoming poor and leading to many people who aren't able to feed their families. Now, think of this. As someone said to me today, think of this, right? Those school children who are dependent upon school meals or dependent upon breakfast programs by schools and lunch programs by schools to get something to eat, they're going home for 2 weeks. Where are they going to get something to eat from? Their parents are still unemployed. Have we considered this? So how could I give government a pass? How could I not focus on what government is doing to create pain in our society? We are too small a society, as I've said already, for us to be having this type of pain and this type of nonsense. It It is nonsense, it's nonsensical. I have serious problems with this because it hurts me when I see people who are hungry. It hurts me when I see people cannot meet their commitments because they've lost their jobs. There's no way they can go and get one. The private sector is not functioning. The activity within the private sector is not at that level where they can say, all right, we can go to the private sector and get a job. Because the private sector too has its problems. And they soon too will be laying off persons. So therefore, all you have to focus on what government is doing and what it is not doing. But there's some other things that we need to look at in relation to all this. And there's something very strange about government responses to our fears and government responses to our complaints. Check it. There's a common thread that pervades every response by government. And I'll give you a classic example. The head of the private sector body last week spoke about business people being afraid to speak out and that kind of thing. And there was a very swift response from government. Examine the nature of the response. It is like every other response the government makes to people who criticizes it. That response that Donald Ennis made was political. That is the nature of the response, political response. And I believe it is so because government is concerned mainly with its political survival. He hasn't suggested that he will sit down and talk to Mr. McDonald about what he has said. No. In other words, I'm going to drive more fear in you. And the statement seems to have been designed to create fear. But when you look at it again, what is government's attitude to the poor? What is government's attitude to the poor? What is government doing to assist the poor? And that group is becoming larger and larger and larger every day. Recently, in the estimates, through the estimates, the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs stated that he is looking to sell the BNTCL, Barbados National Terminal Company Limited. Okay. He wants $70 million. He also said that he's going to tax the credit unions. No, the credit unions didn't like that. I like it myself. I think it's a retrograde step. It doesn't make any sense. But I have to understand, I understand this, that government is looking for money. Government wants money. So everywhere they can possibly put their hands on some money, they will touch it because they need money. You know why can't keep quiet? You know why won't be silent? This is a golden opportunity for the Minister of Finance to put some money in the pockets of Barbadians and some of the poor Barbadians. So, Mr. Sinclair, I want to talk to you about this. I want you to listen to me. Listen to me carefully. I am bright. My parents sent me to school. But I want you to listen to me. Take my foolish advice. As my father used to say, I can give you $1 million piece of advice and it can cost you a cent. Not a cent. Right? The advice I'm going to give you is to help Barbadians have a greater stake, and really have a stake in this country. Listen to me carefully, Chris. I could call you Chris. Listen to me. Don't sell the oil terminal for $70 million. sell it for 75. But sell it to the credit unions. Approach them and tell them the government wants to sell you the oil terminal for $75 million. Not 70. Listen to what I tell you carefully. When you do that, right, you can give thousands of Bajans, and somebody suggested this to me, thousands of Bajans the opportunity to have a stake in this country through the credit unions, because they become the owners now of the credit of the Barbados National Oil Terminal Company Limited. The Bajans will become the owners of that. And you see, we're going to understand, Chris, right? Is that the National Oil Terminal Limited, they make $300 million a year. They turn over $300 million. That's a lot of money. That's real money. So they can pay dividends because the credit union movement, they have the ability to run this. Look how the Barbados Workers Credit Union has run that institution. Different financial instruments and different services. They have done a fantastic job. They have the ability to do it again. So don't sell it. Don't sell it. I beg you. Good dear Chris, I beg you. Don't sell it to no one man or to no one company. Do what I tell you. I'm going to tell you, you know what can happen? They're just going to love you, because right now they love you so much. Because they're vexed with you. You got to get back some of that love. And everybody wants to be loved, including you and me. And they're going to love you forever because you got to put some money in their pocket when the year comes. You see, the credit unions got to pay dividends on the profits. And they got to put some money in the credit union shareholders' pocket. The credit union belong to them and belong to no one body. So when you do that, you broaden the scope of ownership in the country. And some of the people who are unemployed, we get a little something, ain't no big sack, but everybody can get a little piece. Do what I tell you here. Take my foolish advice. You do that, man, I tell you, master stroke. I can tell you that I got all the ideas. I would never say that. The other ideas over there, you can look at them. But I beg you, don't sell it to no one man or no one company. That is not a good thing to do at this time. Show the people that you care, that you're concerned. And they will get it. They're foolish. They're foolish, you know. Even though things hard with them and they keep it quiet, they're foolish. They don't understand what you're trying to do. No. It takes a while for government to do things. You know that. So I can give you some time. Come back tomorrow and tell me what you do. You understand? And we can talk with this. I got people who are willing to sit down with you and discuss this with you, right? And give you some more ideas. This is our country. We want the best for our people. Because one of the things that we don't want is to see that the ranks of the poor and the unemployed continue to swell. They're getting too big and too uncomfortable. There are too many attendant problems that will accompany this. That's all I got to tell you. I listen to hear from you. Thank you.